Okay, I just got filled on some orders I put in. I put them in kind of deep. Okay, so I wanted to read some of the comments here people making. So some guy didn't understand why there's a time expiration on the tickets, and some guy says, well, simpleton style trading is essentially throwing shit at a wall and seeing what sticks. In a sense, in other words, at least for the I don't give a fuck the casual trading. I mean, the proper attitude for trading is you shouldn't really care, because if you chose a stop and this, or you chose a mental stop, you're going to get out of the market during X, which is never a good idea for me because I just can't do it. Here, what I'm doing is, you see this, it's really not as blatant as that. I actually have my orders in new highs and new lows. So it's not just what sticks. And why does it expire after 8 hours if I choose that? Because I don't want to have to delete these tickets, number one. Number two, imagine you had a confirmation entry system, and this would be also a this would be more retail, socially acceptable trading, I guess you call this. If I have on a computer or a tablet easy access to a particular button that's going to do a particular thing, if I am a stop entry person, for some reason I find myself in that world, and on this 4-hour chart, I've got tickets that last 4 hours. If in Asia, I put a sell stop here and a buy stop here. Now, if that ticket lasts 8 hours, I'm going to get filled on that. I get filled to the south side if this is an 8-hour expiration on a sell stop. If I do a cancel replace, every 4 hours that goes by, I hit the same robot or the same thing that says put a buy stop and a sell stop now on the tightest point, right? So this is subtle, but this is important if you're trying to make more money. Because if you put 4-hour cancel replace on buy stop, sell stop, the same advantage takes place. You're timing the market. You're also giving the market a parameter. This is a 4-hour chart. I should have a buy stop here and a sell stop here if I'm a blind breakout trader, but I'm already short and I'm right at break even now. Should I buy back? Because if I got filled on my buy stop, sell stop bot, you should be able to see the other guy's trade. Also, are you trapping a goober right now? Is he trapped short coming into Wednesday? Are we below the floor on the euro 4-hour? I say yes. I say this plunge here, retrace, I dumped everything. I came back, I said I was going to put buy limits below. I did that. This should be easy to follow. I posted it, but look, I know this is really strange because some guy asked me, hey, this MT4 thing looks really cool because TradingView is not letting me place an order. Yeah, well, TradingView is kind of a charting, a dreamland site. This is more of like, well, of course, this, you can see the tickets on the screen. Yeah, this is the ultimate. MT4 is just so easy. Okay, we're breaking out here on the pound. So I bought the sell-off, and I was prepared to buy for the next 8 hours. This also thing on the fact that I'm running the 8-hour expirations. My risk is evaporating, right, over time. Plus, I don't have to go and delete these things, which is the beauty. That's they call labor-saving devices, like a gun. It'll just save me putting you in jail for how long now? So here's another guy that answers them. He's placing time decay because the price is changing from the fair state to unfair, vice versa. You need to watch the market, how fast it's moving. What prices are important. If the market drops too fast, most likely it will recover a certain percentage. If it moves moderately in the trend, then you place deep tickets. But don't put a time decay be realistic with the market. Is like fishing. Don't try to catch all the fish. Right. So, it's also a semi-automated way of approaching the market. And, to me, it's just so great that the market has this limitation. So this guy comes back and says, that doesn't explain why I have to be waiting there with a bigger ticket to catch deeper prices, regardless of whether or not the price moves quickly to the trend. I can't do anything but continue to trade against it because it can turn around at any moment. All I can do is a swing trader is wait for the turnaround when it turns sooner or later than it seems to matter. Okay, that's a psychological issue. You got a psychological problem. In other words, also you're talking about swing trading, and you really have to define your stop. Are you talking about a 20 pip stop or a 100 pip stop? I would say to anybody that's going to even talk about this market, it's like if you had to make one decision and it cost you $10, or you had to make one decision and it cost you $2, you give somebody this offer. I still have this fantasy of having a prop house, and the interview. What the questions just be like? Are you more comfortable losing $2 5 times or $10 once? And if you go to scratch and win, I don't know what it is for lottery tickets, so that's a really dumb bet. Once you see forex, you'll never buy another lottery ticket because this is so obviously less risky. Okay, the bottom of the hour is coming, and these are 8 hour. This is 8 hour time frame I'm trading, but so the bigger tickets deeper. Don't mix up the bigger tickets deeper with the time decay. They're independent issues. Really, what you're trying to say is, if this goes up here super high from like you're here, like when the market takes off, since you didn't get on the long train, you don't feel like chasing this. Your only other option, in my opinion, or in just kind of reality, I think, is that if you're not going to jump on this bull train that's only 8 hours long, what's your other choice? Well, how about you sell where everybody's target is? Now, if you place orders up here that last 12 hours or 8 hours, they'll get filled, even if you're down here, because this took 8 hours to get up here. So what I'm saying is that I'm putting out my own criteria, and this is the only control I do have over the market. But what if these orders last 4 hours and I drop it here? Then if I'm front running the market 4 hours in front, some of these will fill, these will not fill, and that is the tippy top turnaround. And if you said waiting, so when you said I'll have to be waiting there with the bigger tickets to catch the deeper prices, regardless of whether or not the price moves there quickly. Well, not really, because if the market moves there quickly, you're going to fill more of the tickets. So if I put orders in here that last, let's see, this is a 15-minute chart. These last an hour. Okay, so we're getting this rally now in the pound. Right at the bottom of the hour. So notice right here at the bottom of the hour and 5 minutes after, there's a lot of reversals taking place. Also, there'll be continuously low-impact news trickling out through this whole morning today. This is Wednesday. And since we are under the floor on a Wednesday, I suspect we could come ripping back out of this, especially, well, even the euro. Everything's kind of heated up a little bit. But my target's going to be here today. So I'm buying this trap, in essence, of the 4 hour guys. But really, there's a bigger picture. But if you're a swing trader, and they said you can't do anything but continue to trade against it because it can turn around at any moment. So this is another kind of, you are approaching this from a that is a rule in your head that you have, that eventually it's going to turn around. It doesn't have to. The market can literally keep tanking or keep going up. So if you are going to front run it, you're going to put orders in above and below you. Now, the deeper they are, the longer they should last, because that's in 12 hours, if you have a 12-hour expiration or a 1-day, 24-hour tickets, and you can't get back to the platform because you're out cheating on your wife, then you're really going to say, oh, I got a bank in there that I don't even have to think about. And then you look at your phone. I look at my Android and I see, oh, looks like I got filled on that bank. Built into the bank is already a scalp. Because we know that if we do dip into this cavern, this vacuum, there's going to be a battle of at least 5 to 15 to 20 pips before we either engulf, that auction's over. So if you can see the order blocks, if you've taken the ICT course, you're just going to put a grid of maybe 40K, place it in a hotspot, and walk away. If it lasts 12 hours because you don't want to come back and do that same fucking trade and you got tendonitis from dropping all these orders, which I think I'm almost getting tendonitis, but I think I've had it for a long time. It's just what you do with it. You work around everything, but the mouse, I have a trackball, so that's my answer. Maybe I should get a bigger trackball so I can cross-train my hand. But this guy gets it, Victor. But this is the when you see what somebody makes a comment, you're trying to have to be a little detective here. When they use words like waiting and regardless of whether or not the price moves there quickly, no, that really is part of the whole scheme. So a 15-minute ticket, a 30-minute ticket, which I wouldn't want to keep replacing that, and that's something a robot. I do have a robot that I can turn on that's going to dump in really close to the order market orders. I'm sorry, limits that only last like a half hour, 30 minutes. And at certain times of the day, I could see turning that on and saying, okay, I know exactly what this thing's going to do. I know how deep the orders are. Let this thing go on a little trolling of small price fluctuations, mini auctions, so to speak, and let it pick up a few bucks here and there. But then I think, after the spread, and the spread maybe, how much, of course, it is a robot. It's churning out this dumb trade plan. And that's what it does. The other stuff you're running could be more, okay, this is very thought out. This is very meticulous. I have orders in a supply zone I know exists. This is not just throwing shit out there, throwing shit on the wall. So, so here's another guy. I downloaded all the scripts. I like them, but I need to become better at stacking them in the best possible manner. Right, so that is the trick here. And of course, we are trying to, with the hand drop tickets, we are trying to find the supply, and we're trying to identify the mini vacs. And there's these giant vacuums, and if the market crushes through there, you have to trust and believe that you didn't put too many tickets in and the duration does matter now, right? So if you put 1 hour, if you just keep hitting a button and you're trolling for a 1 hour wick that never happens, you're not losing any money. You're just clicking. You're just burning out the clicker on your clicker, So that's your threshold for, it's kind of a, well, especially when you're trading this many tickets, you got to have some kind of limit, You can't just throw them. Beside the broker, like I said, they're gonna lock me out. And the market is constantly changing, so it's kind of like trying to catch this wild animal. You don't want to get killed by it, so you don't want to get in so big close to the market that if it moves against you, you're fucked. So if you imagine you're trying to trap a wild animal in the woods, you're kind of, if you can imagine your limit orders being bait, even though the market can't see them, you're trying to get on the fringe, the outliers, the unfair values. So you do have orders that are bigger, that are deeper, that are at new highs for the week, for the day, for the previous day. And when you see the market pop up there, you may shit your pants. Also on the same, you may have to wear diapers if you see the market coming into new lows, taking out the low like it did yesterday. When the pound came in and took out the lows from 2 days ago, people were like, holy shit. I should have been short. Yeah, because it violently did it. And so that's when you could have a tablet running in the background where you're saying, I'm going to put on another 100K just on 30-minute scripts. And this is where it becomes I suppose, technology meets trading in this idea of the iceberg order, the big pending bank that's down there waiting to get filled. Now the euro keeps dropping here into my buy limits, and it looks like the pound's recovering. So we got this dual. I'm also using this dual currency mode, which is more work. You have to have both charts up at the same time almost. And so all this stuff, and like how much you really making, and I'm paying more in the spread here. Now here's the idea for this trade. Why is this? I'm not really throwing shit at the wall. I mean, I guess, right? I am on some of these demos. I did buy at the market here. That arrow is a market order, and you can make that a different color. Market orders, but I bought this when we found this hole. And this was a thought out trade. This wasn't just, I put in, you see my first fill here, I'm underwater. So I wanted to buy this vacuum. And I wanted to buy more. This is where the bigger comes in here. But now I would have to still put a time limit on that because, what if it just keeps crashing down? These orders would maybe last 12 hours down here. And we're trying to perceive, can the market drop into this by the time we still got a good 6 hours before Dow Jones opens up? About 6.5 hours almost. And when they open up, what kind of sell-off is possibly left on the British pound here? This sell window, if you want to do a very precise hand drop here, you can stacked up orders here. This was obvious sell territory. I did sell that, but I sold that, and this would be shit at the wall, throwing shit at the wall, is that I literally hit a button. I'm not kidding you. I placed orders up here at the 20-yard line. So I just sold because it was 20 pips plus. I could see this. That was the beginning of the selling windows for that supply because it goes back about 8 hours, 12 hours. And you got to figure, hey, listen, I'm not going to chase this up into fair value. I'm coming back into the mainstream. Plus, I'm coming back to this trend line. Don't forget all the guys that are selling. And I know it's hard to believe, but you could have taken the same trade off this trend line. And the trend line traders are going to tell you all day long, yes, I sold here. But I sold there for a different reason. It's funny how on closing prices only, which is the only way to draw trend lines out, honestly, because the trend exists on closing prices. Unless you have a high and low trend, if you do your moving average and you tell it, give me the moving average of highs versus close, it's a completely different moving average. So here, yeah, there could be sellers there. Is there a channel in there? Sure. There's all this stuff in there, right? We can draw this, you can bring this over and use this just like a miter box. You can just keep drawing this back and forth. But is it going to change my buying into this hole? And this could keep on crashing. Am I in too big? Can I afford to buy down here deeper and make up for not getting this not being the turnaround? We may go down deeper. And so having these tickets last 4 hours in here, I'll say, you know what, I'll add to it here because if this does come down here, I really want that and I will get in bigger. So the bigness is created by how long, if the order lasts 12 hours, you're naturally getting in bigger without having to put a new ticket in. So that's another thing about it. Plus, just the practical fact that it's going to delete these orders in 8 hours and I can go back to sleep. Or if I put in a 4-hour ticket, say you're going to lay down for 4 hours and sleep. I'm talking about if you're a full-time trader trying to take advantage of every zigzag. The other guy said you're not trying to catch all the fish. Right. If you put too many tickets in, even though it looks great in hindsight, if you started buying everything under this floor, and I guess we're back under it, and you absorb this sell-off of 60 pips, which we did this trade yesterday, right? So this, I said, we're going to drop 30 pips. We dropped 30 pips. I could have shorted this for 1 hour yesterday. Did the video, it's there. Did this with real money, did it with fake money, made $1,000 on the retrace. Now, they did come in and take out this floor in Asia, overshoot, come back up, comes through the through this floor, pull back to it, through it, back, now down. I'm buying here. We're going to start cashing out here. We're going to take our 10 pips, and maybe we get here. Maybe not. Maybe it drops here. We buy this, and we cash out into here. Either way. So I have a backup plan. I'm not in that big right now. I'm in just, so getting the size right. And you're timing the market with this expiration. You know that in the commodity market, they'll tell you when you get your statement, it says, what type of order was it? So, GTC, and they even call that for early forex, yeah, Clorox, the forex thing. They had good till canceled. So you see the GTC. There was a platform in the United States where you could trade forex and trade all the other stuff. That's old speak for you got to call up and cancel that. Now, if it was end of the day, so if you put a buy limit in corn and it said cancel at the end of the day, you could go to sleep knowing that then when you wake up and corn's moved down another 10 cents, that, okay, well, that's going to change everything, right? Now you get to trade super wide. You got to accommodate the market. You can't really control it. There's nothing you can do. So the only control you have is what price you're going to buy, how long you're willing to create this, your own auction, your own criteria for entry, so you can control that. You control the size, the price, and how long you're willing to do that. So in the stop entry technique, if you really want confirmation on the half hour, 1 hour time frame, or just your tickets are like that, you could be on the 4 hour, the market's screaming up. I've done it before. The market's screaming up, and I'm putting in sell stops the last 15 minutes. And this is during the news, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm giving it 15 minutes to start crashing, pick up my sell stops, which become market orders, and ride that down for X. Like, where is the target? Where's the stop for that ticket? And how many tickets do you have in the market? So this, I guess, project of trading micro lots, it just goes way back. I mean, the first script I wrote like this, where it was before I found the drop scripts. These were hard written. British pound. I put in this. I had wrote this ticket. It was 20K of 1Ks. It had a ridiculous stop of 50 pips. It was designed to make like 15 pips. The news comes out on the British pound. I hit this button. It puts in this 44 to 50 pip deep rack bank pendings. Market spikes down, retraces, and I'm just looking at the account and there's no open trades. This happened so fast. The broker honored it. I mean, it's obviously a scalp. It was just a flash crash, retracement, spike. And I just like, wow, you know, this is not something, now that I guess you could say that was throwing everything at the wall, hope something sticks. But it's almost like you're saying that as if it's unintellectual. It's not technical analysis. You're just throwing stuff. Okay, so and the problem is, this is like, well, you know, your analyst told you the neighborhood is X, but then you put up the stores and nobody's showing up. My consultants must have their head up their ass. The pollsters must have their head up their ass. Yeah, no kidding. And we're still having to wait here. So it's coming up on 3 o'clock in the morning. We're trapped under this floor. We've been selling off for like 6 hours. Down, down, down. if you're short, when you gonna get out and turn around on this trade? When you gonna take profits? Where was your target when you went short? Up here. Because of this trap, you sold into that, and now this is where you're probably gonna get out. So you're gonna be a buyer. You're buying back now. Buy back better. Also, I don't think you get filled if you put an order here because we're looking at the bid. The cells are different, so we know we got filled on this cell. So that's the only thing about these charts that are really not accurate is that we know we got filled on the cell limits here if we placed them right on the bid. Here we don't know if we got filled because if the spread was this wide when we come down here, and this order did not get filled, but I did put a basket of deplorables down here, and I'll put some more, and you can see this is slightly logarithmic, slightly martingale, even this 3K. That was the 8K I was talking about. If you had 3Ks in an 8K window, and all these targets should be not greedy for this if I'm going to add to it because I got to exit here on these guys. I got to get out there. So that's the set it, forget it trade. Looks like I picked up a few tickets here. So I'm in about 2 standard lots right now. I think the euro's selling off into my limits right now. So here's the other thing is I think this could keep dropping. So I definitely want to buy this. And we could take out the low. So now I'm really going to get heavy in below the, for 8 hours. I think we could actually take out, because it's Wednesday, we could take out the low of yesterday. And I got plenty of open. I'm just focusing on this. So I want to fill up all the way to the round. It's going to be another 40 pips down, possibly coming on the euro this morning. So that's a possible trade. It is possible to get real money below the round. Now we're only trying to make a few pips here, but this will add up. This will be worth about $200. Here's a 12 pip stop to make 16. $4 to make $4. So I put it like a real world amount here as break even though the stop says 12. So we're looking for quite a big, maybe 3 o'clock in the morning here. So if I was on the tablet, I would say something like, okay, well, let's put in some lower risk tickets here. Like, how about we press a button and we buy for a half hour, we buy another 50K like this. This is the 1 hour chart. So another hour, I'm going to buy like 50K right in that window, that slot. That's going to be my trade. So let's see. So I'm creating my own criteria here. And look how this is dropping so quickly. So if I would have put in into this, this is the low from just before the close, and this is Asia low. And if I'm going to buy, my favorite kind of no-brainer trade is to buy everything below Asia for a certain period of time. Really, for probably the whole night, you know. This is always going to be, I'm going to buy here coming into the next day. I don't know if they can drive this down and take out the low of the previous day. That's something that remains to be seen, but at least I've got a way to do it. Now, here's my sell limits I put up here for if we ever got out of this thing and we got above this, I'm going to logically sell in this supply zone here. This is still open for fill. The whole day ahead of us, but it is. We're getting ready for that London Open, or the European market's going to open. And did we fall in a hole here? Can we scalp just to this floor here? Yeah, that's my scalp. And here, so we have to wait. We're going to have to wait till U.S. markets open. And hopefully, in a perfect world, we will be into the sell window here. I'll be selling this. If I hold this for the engulf, then we naturally sell to this, and then we get a pullback to this price. So it crushes into these limits, cashes out into here, and we get both. And on the way to this, it's going flat. In a perfect world, it's flat, then it starts to sell, then it comes back, and then you made money. Hopefully you can make another $1,000. We make $1,000 a day in this demo account. Just trading the euro and the pound on supply and demand, so to speak. That strategy theory technique, fill in the blank. So also, being awake in Eastern Standard Time at this time of day, you got to take that nap. I think I got to take a nap. So I fell asleep, and I was up on this trade, and I had a 20 pip target. So when we got to here, I'm out. So I sell here, I'm out with 20 pips, and then I start buying below here. I'm flat for that much. And now we wait. So here's the waiting part. So here's another guy's comment. Make sure you change them according to your deposit. Don't just throw them on the chart. You might lose money, and if you are new, you just have to understand how to watch at least a third of Simpleton's videos. Otherwise, you lose money, and scalps won't help. Scripts won't help. Yeah, so if you just throw them in there, really brutally. Some guy says, needs some help, dude. Appreciate it. Whatever that. So, I'm struggling on TradingView with the forex.com. Okay, so the forex.com is letting you execute the trades, I guess. This setup using. Yeah, I guess you just go to, I don't know if you're in Europe. If you are, you really got quite the advantage. Trade, dump TradingView Forex and get to MetaTrader. Non-US brokers. Yeah, the nanny state. So the nanny state definitely is the. You can preserve. Oh, Grand Capital, huh? Oh, you have a nano account. Wow. So this guy, yeah. Yeah, it's fun buying the plunges. Okay, so this guy, I have to go to my actual page because if I try to read the comments, you can't do it on the. So you're buying the plunges, yeah. Now the euro versus the pound. Oh my God. So this plunge is happening right now. This is when people would go long. This would happen to me all the time. I go long. I couldn't figure out Forex for so long. I'm like, why am I getting killed? I know I'm right about this fucking trade. Like, so I buy here. Let's say I buy here. And I'm long this thing. And then I go to sleep, and I wake up, and I'm like if I go to sleep in Asia, and I'm like, yeah, this is sweet. I'm going to stay in this trade. Then I look over, I'm down 30 pips. What the fuck? So really had to start being more of a up-down trader. Forex just forcing me to just cash out and then just come back. But it is fun because when I see them come into this, I go, okay, if I can scalp to this, I can lock in the scalp, and now I can sit back and say, well, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. We're probably going to do this. We're probably going to try to go for this by U.S. markets open and then come back. And I can't wait for them to sell the rallies now. So, the selling take me a while to develop. Kind of forced into it because, and that's why I do the videos. Because after I do the videos, I say, like, the sellers are selling. I'm like, well, then I should sell there. So this is my version of a journal. I can't write stuff down. I got a friend that we both said that, this idea of getting this journal that's like this $20 book that's blank with high-end paper. I'm like, Do I have a high-end pen? And can I get an eraser with this? I don't want to fuck up this book. So if I just ramble on these videos, and people that criticize me always wonder, well, where's your video of you telling me I got my head up my ass? People make these comments and then just take off. Okay, well, do your video on it. And then you'll see, okay, well, maybe, okay, now everybody's scalping to here. It's almost 3 o'clock in the morning. I know people are cashing out. I am cashing out myself on something here. And the greed in me wants to hold the whole position, but I've realized that I've got to take that 10 pip target. I just have to. I can't afford to ride these giant moves. So, yeah, it's making trading fun again. And the also joining in some of the current silver fun too. Yeah, so if you have the script to do it, like, this kind of drama, these wicks and all this stop hunting is hilarious. It's so much money. You're making so much money. The key is trading very small relative to your account and diversifying your risk over the chart and betting the ranch on black is fun. Okay, so betting the ranch on black is no fun at all. Neither is waiting for setups, so you can be your own market maker. Absolutely so. Lead diffusion. He understands. Well, at least my thing. Do you only buy plunges or do you sell spikes as well? I find success buying dips for some reason. Yeah, so can't the market decide to fill a larger vacuum at any moment in time? Yes, it sure can. So if you have a limit bank above and below the market decides to fill a larger vacuum, limit orders would obviously get stopped out. So, wait a second. So he says your limit bank above and below the market decides to fill a larger vacuum. The limit orders will obviously get stopped out. Well, if you have a wide enough stop, they won't. But how do you differentiate continuing to scale in, looking for the retracement versus assessing probability? It's going to go there. So the Brexit crash. Well, the thing is, temporarily fake spike and then retracement. How do you determine if there's a real larger vacuum to fill? Well, this is going to be so if like right now, I should be cashing out if I'm in really big, and I'm like $1,000 up on this trade, even though I think this is going to go crashing into this. That is the hard part, right? So do I cash out? Let me see. I got my finger on the take profit trigger. I did this last night into this rally just before the close. Okay, I'm going to cash out. What I'm seeing here, it's going to be in 1 minute and in 5 seconds. It's going to be 3 o'clock in the morning. I think I'm going to cash out right at the top of the hour. And it could have some follow through, but you know what? I'm out. There's a supply zone up there. So let's get out of this trade. It could follow through now. Okay, so I just went flat on that. I just banked, I don't know, $100. And I got sell limits up here. And as far as the euro goes, the euro hasn't gone through that phase yet. I'll let this one go. And when this goes up, I cash out. Or I just let it go. I got so much exposure to sell above me here. And the pound is going to continue going up there. So I'm cashing out of my real money and the fake money here right now. And then this will be a big contentious sell zone. And I can't wait to sell this. Like said the guy, it makes trading fun again. I must say, when I would see the market plunge, I would buy at the market like an idiot. Although I didn't. Here, I think I might have put on a couple. I know I put on some market orders here because I didn't think I was in big enough. Now we're going to come into the sell window now. All right. So way up on tippy top here. And we are flat on the pound. We are about to cash out of some of this. And I can go flat on this too, right? So I'm just going to show you how the size. I'm going to reduce my size, which is a critical thing too. I'm going to get down to where I'm only in about 3K here. So I just went from 200K to 3K. And I'm going to, looks like I'm going to hold on to 8K. Now, I can come back like this. And if I was going to do this with real money on this one, I would put, here's the 2 hour, okay? Why is it 2 hours? Because I'm saying if we retap this supply wick, so that is an insane reversal. Can we retap that? Oh, yeah. Now, that's a different kind of trade here. Same thing. I'm going to put in 10 pip windows. I'm going to put in 2 hour retrace back to here. We can do it. We can do it before we go up. We got to get some fuel, right? So we have to come back maybe. So we cashed out of that. And now we can go back to sleep. I can put these lower risk, actually 2 hours. I'm really coming back here in 2 hours. That's the 1 hour chart. We might. But, you know, I want to go sleep longer. I'm going to put 3 hour here. So I think you're confusing the depth. 6 hours, I'm going to buy down here at new lows. And now I'm going to restack some 8 hour tickets below in this supply zone. So that is the technique. That is the system, kind of market maker system for sure. And I'm just going to, so I'm going to put these 40 pip winners here. I'm going to start here in 8 hours. These are logarithmic, so there's kind of a tail on it. And then I'm really going to load up here, whatever the broker allows. Here's a 30 pips to make 30 pips. And this is going to be good until U.S. stocks open. I'm going to start buying. I think it's going to, let's see, I might have got barely filled on some of this stuff. So let's go to the 2 hour tickets again. And I'm saying that by 5 o'clock in the morning, we could be down here. I want to buy that. Same thing here. Okay, let me delete this stuff. And we're going to do the same thing here. What if we retap this? And we've seen this before. If you've ever traded, you're like, wait a minute, I thought it was going up. And watch, there's a probability. And so the probability goes up. If this is a 3 hour ticket to buy the retap of that wick, there's no end to the kind of like retesting. There's constant stuff going on. Let's go for 6 hours in here. 18 pips stout to make 23. So here's the kind of controversial. This is 37 pips stout to make 23 pips. I think I could make that trade. That's 6 hours. This Dow Jones will be about opening. The time this could get filled by the time the Dow Jones opens. I'll totally take this trade. And we'll buy everything below here. And then the 8 hour tickets or even 12 hour tickets I can buy down here. I think I just used up my ticket allotment. That didn't take long. Okay, I'm still going to leave these cells up here, but this is where, since my ticket allotment's evaporating, and it does look like we could come crashing up here, let me trim these back and donate some of my open tickets to that. And this is where, if you know that these are 8 hours, you're like, you know what? If we spike up here, we could rip into this. And this is where I guess the thinking comes in. And there's definitely sellers up there. But on the way to that, there are so many sellers above this. But I'm looking at selling more higher. And this is a critical price still. So that's written in stone. I can't wait for them to plunge it into here. If the stock market, there's no news this whole week really until Friday, non-farm payroll. So, you know, if they can crash it below that, and the mob, the herd, the funniest thing is watching these people talk about, well, the market's up because what's going on in Reddit. Are you fucking nuts? This is crowd behavior. There is no like, well, the good guys, the bad guys. Also, all of a sudden, the little guys are the big guys, the big boys. Give me a fucking break. You're out of your mind. Hey, I'm up 5 cents. Look at this. So we made another $200 this morning, and I'm buying the plunge. So that's it. I'm gonna go take a nap. I'm waiting for U.S. markets to open. I should read more comments in here because I can see all the comments. This guy wrote about my 5 factors to consider before taking a trade. Man, I lost my shit. How many views a video like that gets? This is why retail traders get fucked by listening to people like that. Your content deserves 10 times those views. Keep it up, mate. So this is guy Igor. Sounds German, Igor. Can you have the bad ratios as long as, yeah, that's true. Yeah, you can get away with a lot. Explain the market and stop pointing old turning points. I don't know what that is. So some guy made a comment from the Daily Dose Fine Internet. I don't know if he's talking about me or the guy in the video. You're wrong, he's right. I don't know if that was identifying bank manipulation. And that's another one. These videos like identifying bank manipulation. I could do that all day long. Here's one. Oh, they got me trapped into a cell here. Damn it. You know, the banks, what they did here is they manipulated it. See how they took it and ran it down, and then they tricked me and they made my moving averages turn over. And I took a sell right here at this breakout of Asia. Damn it. And they came back up on me, and damn them banks. Okay, I'm up $2. Look at this. I'm up $2. Okay, I'm going back to sleep.